Hello students. Now we are going to start with the first chapter of political science, that is what is democracy and why democracy. First I will introduce you to the different sections of this chapter. First, on page number 1 of the chapter you will see the overview. The first section starts on page number 2 and it is titled as what is democracy. This section it consists of two subsections, that is why define democracy and a simple definition. This section it covers page number 2 and 3. Then we move to the second section, which is titled as features of democracy. The subsections here include the 4 features of democracy and they cover page number 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Then the third section is titled as why democracy. It covers page 9, 10, 11 and 12. This session it consists of 3 subsections. One is debating merits of democracy, second is arguments against democracy, and the third is arguments for democracy. The last section is titled as broader meanings of democracy and it is included in page 13, 14 and 15. So I hope you are having the textbooks with you. Please take the textbooks so that you can refer to the related parts while I am teaching you. All right. Now we start with the overview, which is on page number 1. In this chapter, you can see here on the left hand side where I have written overview. The first part you can see is building a simple definition. So in section 1, that is what is democracy, we are going to build a simple definition of democracy. It will include 2 sections, that is why define democracy and a simple definition. Then you can see in the overview that section 2 will be working out meaning of the terms which are included in the simple definition. And step by step we work out the meanings of the terms in this definition and we understand the 4 features of democracy. That will be in section 2 and in the different subsections we will be understanding the 4 features of democracy. After going through this chapter, we should be able to clearly distinguish a democratic form of government from a non-democratic form of government. Then in section 3, we are going to see why democracy is better than any other form of government. Democracy is the most prevalent form of government in the world today. It is extending to more countries. Why is it so? So we are going to take up this question in the third part, the third section, that is why democracy. And the last final section will be about the broader meanings of democracy, and here you will be introduced to a broader idea of democracy. So student, this is what we are going to study in chapter number 1 of political science, that is what is democracy and why democracy. Okay, so now we can start with our first section, that is titled as what is democracy. As I have told you that this section it consists of 2 subsections. One is why define democracy and a simple definition. So let's start with why define democracy. Yes. So before we start with why define democracy, I want to discuss with you some features of democratic governments. and we are going to see those features which are simple features and which are common to democratic governments. If I ask you how will you be able to distinguish a democratic form of government from a non-democratic form of government, what will come in your mind? The first thing that comes in our mind is that the power is exercised by a government which is elected by the people. And secondly, the people, they enjoy some basic political freedoms. This we find in a democratic form of government. And if it is a non-democratic form of government, we see that the people cannot choose or change the rulers. You must have heard about dictatorships, you must have heard about military governments. So in non-democratic governments, the people cannot choose or change the rulers. And secondly, the people do not have the freedom to express their opinions. It happens when there is a non-democratic form of government, that the people may not have the freedom to express their opinions, neither form associations or organize protest. Okay, so now we have seen some features of democratic and non-democratic governments. So the teacher here in the lesson, Miss Mary Lingdo, she wants the students to take part in evolving a simple definition of democracy. But before that, there is a discussion on why we should define democracy, because a student, she wants to know that we have discussed democracies and now we are going to define democracy. So her objection is that why we have not first defined democracy and then we have discussed the different democracies. So the teacher, she answers her, and some other students also they join in the discussion, and they come to know, the teacher explains to them that why there is a need to define democracy. So as I told you, the student, Mary, she is having some objections. Her objection is that why we are first discussing democracy and then we are thinking of finding a meaning of democracy or defining democracy. So teacher tells us that in our day-to-day life we use words like pen or rain or love. So the teacher tells her that the teacher asks her, do we have to wait to have a definition of these words before we use them? She means that we are using the words, and when we use the words, we come to know about their meanings. But then the girl, she wants to know then why we need to define the words. Suppose if we are understanding the meaning of the words while using them, then what is the need to define democracy? Hence this section is titled as Why Define Democracy? The teacher tells her that the need to define a word arises when we come across a difficulty in the use of a word. She gives example of rain. She says that we need a definition of rain when we have to distinguish rain from drizzle or cloudburst. In the same way, when we come across difficulty in the use of the word democracy, we have to have a definition of democracy. There are governments which are very different, but they describe themselves as democracy. So when we need to distinguish democracies, real democracies, from such governments, we need to have a definition of democracy. There's another girl, Ribang. She asked the teacher, why do we need to work on a definition? The other day, the teacher herself, she quoted Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln said, democracy is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. She tells that in Meghalaya, all the people, they rule over themselves. And this is accepted by everyone. So she asked the teacher, why do we need to change that? The teacher tells that she is not saying that we need to change Abraham Lincoln's way of describing democracy. Actually, she tells she too finds that definition very beautiful. But according to the teacher, we don't know if some way is the best way of defining unless we think about it ourselves. So the teacher wants that we should think whether any way of describing democracy is best or not, and for that we need to think about it ourselves. Teacher tells that we should not accept something just because it is famous or accepted by all the people. Another student, Yolanda, she wants to say something. So she tells that there is no need to look for any definition. She says that she read somewhere that the word democracy, it comes from a Greek word demokratia. In Greek, demos means people and kratia means rule. So democracy is ruled by the people. According to her, this is the correct meaning. So where is the need to debate? Madam Lingdo tells her this is also a very beautiful way of thinking about this matter. But the teacher tells us that this does not always work, because a word does not remain tied to its origin. Teacher gives her example of the word computer, which earlier it meant computing, that is calculating very difficult mathematical sums. These were very powerful calculators, but nowadays we see people using computer not for calculating but for designing, for writing, for listening to music and for watching films. So teacher means to say that the word does not always remain tied to its origin. The word remains the same, but its meaning can change with time. So in this case, it is not very useful to look at the origins of the word. So Mary realizes, as well as other students, that what the teacher basically wants is that there is no shortcut to our thinking about the matter ourselves. We have to think about its meaning and we have to evolve a definition. So in this way, all the students realize that they have to think now and then they have to evolve a definition of the term democracy. So now we move to the second subsection, that is a simple definition. So when we look at one common simple factor to all democracies, we realize that the common factor is that the government is chosen by the people, and this helps us to form a definition of democracy, and that is, democracy is a form of government in which the rulers are elected by the people. Once again, democracy is a form of government in which the rulers are elected by the people. So this definition is a useful starting point, and it is useful because it separates democracy from forms of government clearly not democratic. For example, in Myanmar, there is army rule. Those who have control in the army, they are the rulers, and it is of course not democracy because those who are those who are in the army, they have not been chosen by the people. Similarly, in the kings of Nepal, Saudi Arabia, they are also not selected by the people to rule. They happen to be the rulers because they have born in royal families. So in this way, the definition helps us to know that democracy is people's rule. But this definition is not adequate, because if we use this definition in an unthinking manner, we can end up calling every government that holds election as democratic. So what is important is that we need to carefully distinguish between a democratic government and the one that pretends to be one. I repeat, we should be able to distinguish a government that is democratic and the one that pretends to be one. And this we can do by understanding each word in the definition and spell out the features of a democratic government. So now we are going to work out the meaning of the terms in this definition and thereby evolve features of democracies. So this is 1.2 now, the features of democracy. So what we are going to do here is that we are going to see the definition, study the definition, study the different terms, understand the meanings, and then check whether the government is democratic or not. And when we look at the definition, see the definition once again. Democracy is a form of government in which the rulers are elected by the people. So this raises certain questions. For example, who are the rulers in this definition? And then for any government to be called democratic, which officials must be elected once? For example, the office of the prime minister. Shouldn't be he an elected one? So we have to take up this question. And another question is, which decisions can be taken by officials who are not elected? So we are going to consider these questions with the help of example from a country called Pakistan. And the first feature is about major decisions by elected leaders. So we are going to do here a study of what happened in Pakistan under General Pervez Musharraf. General Pervez Musharraf, he led a military coup in Pakistan in October 1999. He overthrew a democratically elected government and declared himself the chief executive of the country. Later, he changed his designation to president, and in 2002 he held a referendum in the country that granted him a 5-year extension. Pakistani media, human rights activists, democratic activists, they said that the referendum was based on malpractices. In August 2002, Pervez Musharraf, he issued a legal framework order. This changed the constitution, and now he got the right to dismiss the provincial and the National Assembly. After this, the elections were held in Pakistan. Now, the people's representatives who were elected, they did not have the important powers. So, they were not the rulers really. Final decision making power, it rested with army officials and Pervez Musharraf. So, what happened in Pakistan is that there were elections and people had their representatives, but those representatives did not have the decision making powers, the important decision making powers. That right to take big decisions, it rested with Pervez Musharraf and the army officials. So, such things happen in many monarchies and dictatorships. What do they do is that they have an elected parliament, but they have a government, but the decision making powers, they rest with themselves. And because they hold elections, because they have an elected parliament, they have a government, it can be felt that there is democracy. But in reality, as those who are elected as the people, they don't have the real powers, it is not a democracy. In few countries in the world, it happened that the external powers, they were having the important decision making rights. So, this helps us to understand the first feature of democracy. And the first feature of democracy is that in a democracy, the final decision making power must rest with those who are elected by the people. And because in Pakistan, the final decision making power, it did not rest with those who are elected by the people, but it rests with someone who was not elected by the people. You know who I am talking about, General Pervez Musharraf. Hence, Pakistan, it cannot be called as a democracy. Though elections were held in Pakistan, though there were elected representatives, but Pakistan was not a democracy. So, in this way, we have come to know about the first feature of democracy, and that is about the rulers. That who are the rulers in this definition? Actually, it should be the people, people's representatives who should be the rulers. Okay, so we have seen today the first, in the first section, what is democracy. Two parts. First is why define democracy, and second is we have evolved a simple definition. Then in the second section we have seen the first feature of democracy, and I repeat, the first feature is, in a democracy the final decision making power must rest with those who are elected by the people. Now we are going to take the read the cartoon activity. For that you have to refer to the cartoons on page 3, 4 and 5 of your textbook. So please take out page number 3, 4 and 5 of your textbooks. On page number 3 down you will see that there is a cartoon, and in this cartoon you can see that the soldiers they are trying to put a symbol of democracy. It means that they are trying to establish democracy. So first I'll read the question. This cartoon was drawn when elections were held in Iraq with the presence of US and other foreign powers. So the question is, what do you think this cartoon is saying? And the second question is, why is democracy written the way it is? The cartoon says that democracy is being established in Iraq with the help of military power. You can see the soldiers there, and they are establishing democracy in Iraq. But the M in the word democracy is similar to M of America's multinational company McDonald's. So I think it means that US was trying to establish democracy in Iraq and at the same time also promoting its economic interest.